Hello, Constellation Stage and Screen Company. We're Prestige Worldwide. We're a project management firm who specializes in planning, coordinating, and implementing management strategies to achieve a client's goals since the fall semester of 2022. Today, we'll outline what we feel is a sound strategy for you as you look to merge three separate organizations into Constellation Stage and Screen Company and move into the next phase of your community involvement and business development. Let me introduce the Prestige Worldwide team. Heather.
Hey, I'm Heather Otten, and I am located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I bring to you about 15 years of project management and strategic planning experience across the government and nonprofit sectors.
Thank you. Joe.
Hi, my name is Joe Shees. I'm from Rustic, Spencer, Indiana, and I have nearly 2,000 minutes of combined project management experience.
Thank you, Joe. Jenna.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Hale. I live in Bloomington, Indiana, and I have about 5 years of experience managing complex projects across private and nonprofit organizations, and I am PMP certified.
And finally, myself. My name is Vince Damon. I live in San Diego, California, and I've been managing both Prestige Worldwide team, which is a challenge at times, and then also working on this project since the beginning of the semester. In front of you, you will see printouts of the following products. We have the scope of work, a breakdown of work structure, project budget, stakeholder analysis, and a risk assessment. Please reference them as needed and let us know if you have any questions as we proceed. Now I'll turn it over to Jenna for an overview of the project.
Good afternoon. Today we will be going over our proposal for the Constellation project. In front of you, you should have your reference materials that we passed out this morning. These reference materials include scope of work, work breakdown schedule, budget, stakeholder analyses, and risk assessment. So I'd like to set the stage a little bit for the Constellation project. We will work through the background details of this project so that you guys are more familiar with our ideas. The Constellation project will work to form a new, thriving arts organization in Bloomington, Indiana. This organization will be a three-way merger between Bloomington Playwrights Project, Cardinal Stage, and Pegasus Institute. The new formation will create a combination of new productions alongside already established works. The new mission of the organization is to produce world-class theater and film that impacts the national performing arts industry through new work development. The project impetus is really the new organization which is forming. It's going to be important that this new organization can set the tone with customers, community engagement, and a healthy donation pipeline. Our team has put together the following objectives to successfully complete this merger. First, we're going to want to complete our community needs assessment. The community needs assessment will be completed by the end of this year, and it will be analyzing and confirming the current community and economic environment. This will allow us to set a baseline for the project. Next, we will use the community needs assessment plan to create a marketing and outreach plan and a fundraising plan. Marketing and outreach efforts will expand our customer base, and by the end of 2023, we are hoping to have 100% growth. Additionally, the fundraising plan will increase our restricted and unrestricted funds, and it will also allow us to solicit for donations.
Hello, I'm going to walk you through the scope of the project. Let's start with what's in scope. The first thing will be a community needs assessment that will take into account both the needs of internal and external stakeholders. We want to expand outreach efforts to increase your audience here in Southern Indiana. We plan to do that by 25% by the end of this year, and we will increase it to 100% by the end of 2023. We want to also look at your donor base. We want to hold on to all of your donors. That's our plan, is to get 100% of your prior donors still locked in to donating by the end of this year. And then by the end of next year, we believe we can find 10% of your current customer base that we can convert into donors by the end of next year. We want to look at government donations, and we want to increase that for public art and community arts programming. So we want to do that by 10% by the end of the fiscal year 2023. And our final thing is to increase the total amount of unrestricted donations to $450,000 per year through 2028. And we want to use pledged and matching funds. What is out of scope for this project? Well, the first thing is a fundraising and marketing for a capital campaign. We won't be doing that. We also will not be doing a large fundraising gala, as we believe that is not great return on investment. We are not going to build a new customer relationship management system. We're just going to use the system that you already have in place. We will not be expanding or repairing or doing anything with facilities. That is out of scope for this project. We do not anticipate, or we will not be identifying efficiency in staffing due to the merger. And finally, we are focusing, what is in scope is focusing on South Central Indiana. We will not be focusing on community engagement beyond that area. So we're not going to be looking at the broader Midwest community for engagement initiatives. So let's look at the assumptions that we have for this project. First, we assume all three organizations that have merged to form Constellation have compatible infrastructure, resources, and culture. Efficiencies will be realized by combining some areas and resources, and sharing information will enhance the reach and effectiveness of all three groups. Second, organized data exists enumerating customer purchases and attendance over the past 5 years for each organization within the merger. This information is easily reportable and will be shared by parties from each of the prior organizations. We assume a full reporting of individual corporate and grant donations is available from each organization over the past 7 years and will be shared amongst the applicable staff and board members as needed and requested. We assume that all fund development and financial information has been reviewed and approved by a third-party auditor as being in compliance with local, state, and federal tax laws. We also assume all prior existing donor relationships exist fully intact and well stewarded. We assume there are no breaches in contract, donation restrictions, nor reporting have been made by any of the former three organizations. We assume that all appropriate paperwork has been processed or is in the process of being filed to ensure nonprofit tax status. And our final assumption for the project is all social media, website, database, any electronic logins are accessible to the appropriate staff, and all site information is up to date.
Hi, I will be covering the work breakdown structure. As we go through this, each teammate at Prestige Worldwide will take the lead based on their experience and proven track record. Initially, we will perform a community needs assessment and then develop the project charter. Then we will move into planning, where we will develop a community engagement plan and a fund development plan. We will look at control plan for the entire project, and then we will finalize the project plan and get approval from the board prior to proceeding. Once we receive approval from the board, we will go into the actual execution of the project. We'll create a donor list as well as target consumer and marketing list, develop a tracker for both fundraising and community engagement. We will then create those trackers and put those into a process that is easily can be used by the team at Constellation. And then we'll implement target brand and awareness campaign, community engagement outreach, reach out to individual donors in a campaign there, as well as look to pursue grants from the federal and local government. Once we've implemented all of those strategies, we will then assess the effectiveness of them, make adjustments as required, and then finally close out the project.
Due to the size of our budget, we've broken it down into sections to review with you. On this slide, you will see an overview of the project budget as it pertains to labor hours and team member costs. In your packet, we have provided you details on the staff and their estimated hours and pay rates. You will notice that these budget items correspond directly to the work breakdown structure Vince just reviewed with you. To initiate the project, we propose a labor budget of $9,307.50 to perform an outsourced community needs assessment and develop the project charter. To plan the project, we anticipate labor expenses to be $4,545 to develop and approve a fund development and community engagement plan and project control plan. We have outlined 12 sub-steps to execute the project, which totals $39,077.50 in labor expenses. Lastly, to celebrate the successes of the project and close it out, we estimate $3,460 in labor expenses. In total, we anticipate all labor expenses to equal approximately $56,390. Keeping in mind the same 4 high-level project steps, initiation, planning, execution, and closeout, we have estimated all direct expenses needed to have a successful project. These expenses include vendor fees, mileage, office supplies, party supplies, printing, venue rental, food and drink, database fees, advertising fees, postage, and marketing software. In total, we estimate the total direct expenses for the project will be $33,736. For this project, we propose adding a contingency into the budget. Combining labor expenses, direct expenses, and contingency, we estimate the project budget grand total being $103,644.90. As you can see in the pie chart, 22% of this budget will be allocated toward the initiation stage, 4% towards planning, 54% towards execution, 7% towards the closing out of the project, and 13% as contingency.
Below you can see all of the stakeholders included in our analyses. Major stakeholders for this project include Board of Directors, Executive Committee of the Board, Executive Director, and the Finance Director. Others include Mayor, City Council, Commissioners, and the Arts Alliance of Greater Bloomington. It will be important to consider each individual stakeholder's level of influence and interest. On this slide, you can see a stakeholder analysis which shows where stakeholders fall on the scale of influence and interest. A few things I want to point out: the Executive Committee of the Board, Board of Directors, Finance Director, and Executive Director all have a high level of power and interest. However, the Chamber of Commerce and the Bloomington Arts Commission have a lower level of influence and interest. During the project, we may want to consider and strategize whose interest and influence we can increase or leverage.
Using Prestige Worldwide Project Risk Management Tool, we identified 6 major risks to this project's successful completion. They are depicted in the bottom right based on probability of occurring and then the severity if they do occur. The 6 that we've identified are scope creep, budget creep, COVID-19 implications on both our team as well as yours, communication issues across the organization, cultural misalignment as we merge the 3 organizations into one, and then a lack of community support. On this slide and the next, I will discuss the 2 most concerning risks as they apply to this project. Number 1 is culture. When you merge 3 organizations together, there's always a opportunity for cultural misalignment. So in order to mitigate those risks, we would like to ensure open and clear communication across all three organizations. We'd like to also avoid tribes forming among those and bring everyone in Constellation to working towards a well-known and established goal, everyone kind of rowing in the same direction. And then finally, the people. It's very important that we get the right people in the right jobs as able to best use their talents to help the organization succeed. Finally, scope creep is always a concern on any project. In order to mitigate this risk, we would ensure consistent and persistent touch points between the key stakeholders and the Prestige Worldwide team to make sure that any changes to the scope are well understood from everyone. In order to assist that, we'll use Prestige Worldwide proprietary process for scope changes. Anytime a scope change needs to be made, we will use our process, which will help clearly communicate that across the entire organization so everyone's expectations are managed and all the key decision makers understand the implications, both time, budget, and scope as scope changes. Thank you for your time. We here at Prestige Worldwide look forward to moving forward on this project and helping the Constellation Stage and Screen Company as you move forward. Have a good day.
Bye.
Investors? Possibly you!